ancestors did. Despite slavery, despite all those things, we are still exceeding, still overcome challenges. You have that same DNA. You can do that as well. It's positive, where you've had to overcome major challenges and you're still successful.
So I, one time a week, and sometimes with volunteers who work with me at my organization, come here and trade our labor, our work, for a car full of fresh produce that we then take into our community that we give away in our neighborhood. We have on the front lawn of our space what we call the community cart. It's a mutual aid space. So it's set up, it looks like a produce stand. It looks like a roadside produce stand. And everything we put on that is for anybody who wants it. So it is a free space. And so people give to the space and people take from the space. So it's a constant flow into it and out of it. For us, this actually started because of COVID. And in those very early months of COVID, you might remember that we had two things happening. One, food became a quick issue for a lot of people who lost their jobs, lost their work. At the same time, we had local farmers who had this abundance of produce and they had nowhere to put it.
This is what God brought me to. Growing food and providing healthy food, man. Learning how to farm since 2011, 2012, like gardening and just learning how to grow food, because I didn't know how to grow food before. Even though, I grew up my grandfather was a farmer, but he was a commodities farmer. And, we had strawberry patches, peaches, and all of that type of stuff. But as a kid, you don't really pay attention to that. You just going and just trying to get you some
plums, pear trees, a small garden. They made like wine and jams, and it was just a part of the culture. Just like people just knew how to do all of it because they came from the plantation, from farms and stuff. And then you go and just walk that neighborhood, you will see other people who got peach trees and plum trees and gardens. And at that time, there was still some integration between like human and the ground, and nature, and agriculture. And so, how do we bring that back? How do we make that fun and cool or modern? Recognizing that agriculture looks very different. Where my food comes from, and so it's a real disconnect between nature, agriculture. How do you get folks involved in the development of their community, development of the economic engine that drives everything. And for too long it's been, held up with just like, certain people or certain groups or certain races, But at the same time, there hasn't been like a real push to just sit down and say like, okay, how can this neighborhood look? How can this neighborhood look? How can this neighborhood look? We also need to be training the next generation of farmers too. And so there's a need for workforce development to train folks to build new farms and the farm for the future, while also assisting on those ones who already are here in prison. Where do you fit in this puzzle? And how can we really chart a realistic plan how we're going to really improve and transform our community if we can? But at the same time, we also got to have real opportunities for folks to have work-based training, to have mentors, but also, most importantly, to get paid.
And I just kept progressing each year. At first, I borrowed a tiller. I had to borrow my uncle's tiller, I ain't really have any income coming in, but I wanted to learn how to grow food, so I borrowed his tiller. And then next year, got me my own tiller. Then I think the next year I got a tractor. a small tractor, and it only lasted for about a month. It's breaking down stuff and can't find nobody to fix it. We're not gonna do that anymore. So this time I didn't get a used tractor. I went and got me a new one. And we were off to the races then. So, I officially have a tractor. I'm officially a farmer, but I'm still learning how to grow food. Do your due diligence when you're buying a used tractor. I didn't know because I got a gas tractor. That's one of the worst types of tractors you could get is a gas tractor. But I didn't know that. People need to be taught how to grow their own food as well. And that's part of their education too. Because if we could, be able to teach people how to grow their own food and how to prepare more healthier foods, then I think we'll have probably a healthier community. The food that's shipped in at Walmart, you don't know how it was grown, what's in it, But then like the local food, like if you go buy food from a local producer, you can go to that person's farm and see what implements they put in it to grow it. And local tastes much better than the stuff that's coming in from Walmart and all that different stuff. Healthier community, food-wise, and teach people how to build wealth, not only for themselves, but for the next generation. Owning land, having a farm on it, and growing your own food, that's wealth as well. I see other races. They run a farm, and everybody works on that farm. They're able to generate an income from that farm. You understand what I'm saying? So it could be done because people are doing it already. But why not more of people of color doing this? Working together. You have a task to do, and everybody just do the task that they're supposed to do, and everybody is earning an income for themselves from this farm, all working together and not fighting amongst themselves, doing things of that nature. So it's just we getting there slowly but surely. But it's just somebody they have to see more people of color doing this. It's hard work, but it's easy work. Once you get your systems in place, it's easy work, but it is work, and you get a satisfaction out of just being one with nature, because you
So how can we do this regenerative agriculture thing? Obviously, we can reduce water consumption. We can do soil health. We can build soil health. We can do microscopic. We can do all the science. But it requires us. It requires us to do this. We must think of a community as a community of people working forward for generations much past us. We are planting trees today that for the shade we will never sit under. We must do our soil and grow food differently so that 200 years from now, our future generations are not looking back at us when we had the opportunity to change the way people access food.